5 years, Nazi Germany has relentlessly expanded across Europe. We must end it. The mission begins here in Normandy, France. The objective, carve out a foothold in German-held France and push Hitler's armies back to Berlin. The airborne troops are the first boots on the ground. While the rest of the invasion prepares to land on the coast, they will jump in under cover of night and start the battle behind enemy lines.
They had a little over 2 hours, and they were about to go and meet the most dangerous enemy that the United States had ever confronted in combat for the first time.
Before we even left the plane, I knew something was wrong. The planes were flying much faster than they were supposed to be flying.
At this point, we're getting better than halfway across. So they just dropped us. Indiscriminately.
The paratroopers of the 507th are scattered. Their mission is a mess, and achieving their objectives now seems hardly possible. Yet miles offshore, troops are already loading up for the beach assault. Their orders? Overwhelm German coastal defenses, seize control of the area, and then fight their way 25 miles inland and capture the strategic city of St. Lo. 5 beaches have been targeted for the landings, but one in particular will become so lethal that its outcome will shape the course of World War II. Its codename, Omaha. Everything is on the line. If the invasion fails, it will be months before the Allies can launch another assault. And the German defenses are only growing stronger. For the past 6 months, the Germans have been fortifying their defenses along the Normandy coast.
We're lulled into this belief that the Germans were weak in Normandy, that they were short-handed, and that they weren't ready for us. And really, nothing could be farther from the truth.
The defenses in Normandy start in the water, with obstacles designed to cripple Allied landing ships. To avoid them, the invasion lands at low tide. But that means soldiers now have 300 yards of open sand to cross in the face of merciless German fire.
As we scraped sand, the boat to our left blew up. We were showered with wood, metal, and body parts. The lowering of the ramp was like a signal for every German machine gun to open up on our boat.
The German MG-42 machine gun fires 20 bullets a second. There's about 35 American soldiers in a landing craft. So if a German firing an MG-42 fires into that landing craft, as soon as that ramp goes down, in about 4 seconds, he's killed every American on board.
The soldiers of Force O, who have made it out of the water, now face 300 yards of open sand defended by nearly untouched German defenses.
There are no safe places on Omaha Beach. There are relatively safe places. The seawall, a slanted wall that leads from the beach to the main road, is one. The other is the shingle, the ridge of rocks that runs along the beach, running parallel to the beach.
It was 300 yards away. Having cut off all my gear to keep from drowning, I'm moving across the beach without even a weapon in my hand. And the sand was kicking up around my
face and body from the bullets. And I waited until I guess the guns were traversing. And when that fire moved away from me, I jumped up and started running again.
I fell a couple of times. Maybe that's what saved me.
I had to reach a 15-foot seawall, which appeared to be 200 yards in front of me. Finally, I came to dry sand once more and I started across, crawling very fast. The Germans in the pillbox on the right flank were shooting up the sand all about me. I reached the stone wall without further injury.
The Germans knew what they were shooting at. 2 hours into the landings, we're still on the beach. We haven't begun the process of flanking around the German strongpoints. And so things are really beginning to fall apart.
Ahead lie 150-foot bluffs, barbed wire, and worse.
We know that the cliffs, the bluffs on the sides are mined, but we have a better chance of climbing these bluffs and surrounding the Germans than running straight through German fire.
The lieutenant's the first one through. On the far side is a swamp leading up to this cliff. He starts crawling through it right away.
And this has really impressed me because here I am a private, I thought, and here's the highest ranking officer that I knew crawling through mud to check for mines.
Didn't make any of us grunts do it. Did it himself.
Every man who could walk and fire a weapon charged up the hill towards the enemy. We had three options. Stay on the beach and die.
Fight wounded, or surrender the beach to the Germans. Surrender was not a word in the 29th Division Dictionary, so most of us fought wounded.
Finally, we made it to where you started to climb the bluffs.
They used tape to mark the path as they was clearing the mines for people to walk on. When they would put that tape down, you didn't step outside that tape because it wasn't clear.
11 hours after first landing, Force O has finally secured Omaha Beach. It is a major accomplishment, but far short of their original goal.
On the first day, we were supposed to be about 10 miles from Omaha Beach. But at the end of June 6th, we were only in about 880 yards.
More men die on Omaha than any of the other Allied beaches.
Someday, I'll tell General Eisenhower just how close it was, those first few hours. Omar Bradley, Commanding General, United States First Army. By nightfall, the situation had swung in our favor. We held a sliver of corpse-littered beach 5 miles long and about 1.5 miles deep. There was now no thought of giving it back.
With the capture of Omaha, the second step in the invasion, secure the 5 Normandy beaches, is now complete. But the third step in the D-Day invasion, linking up the beaches with the airborne troops, is not happening. And the crucial objective, capturing the city of St. Lo, is far out of reach. Getting there means crossing 20 treacherous miles filled with German soldiers.
The Germans don't just fall back and give up after June 6th. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The Germans fight back. They fight back with amazing skill and capability, and they make the battle a very, very difficult process for Allied fighting forces.
The fight forces the Allies through mile after mile of near impenetrable hedgerows. Deadly terrain the Allies are totally unprepared for and perfectly designed for German ambushes. In the days ahead, the death toll will skyrocket to more than 10 times the casualties suffered on the beaches. As the sun sets on June 6, 1944, one thing is clear to both sides. D-Day is far from over.